You ever wondered what an Invoke Justice does when paired up with a Vorinclex plus an Avabruck? Me too. Let's find out. Let's find out. I'm sure it's something pretty spectacular. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Oh, man. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we found out that I have an actual problematic addiction, and that addiction is to reanimator decks. I am so addicted to reanimator decks that we've gone so beyond the scope of what reanimator looks like, and today we are running a reanimator deck in the color scheme of BANT. And I know what you're thinking. I too have never seen a reanimator deck in BANT, so I was wondering myself on how this would look, but it turned out okay. In fact, it turned out better than okay. This is actually one of the better reanimator decks I've made in a long time, and I thought I'd never say that while showing you a BANT list, but here we are nonetheless, and we are going to break this thing down. But as we do that, before I do that, if you are new here, as always, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, it is a free way to help support the channel. It helps us grow, and I would really appreciate it so much. So thank you if you've done that already. I really appreciate you for that. And with that being said, let's talk about the list because it is weird. So typically with BANT, we're trying to get things into our graveyard, big things that are going to hopefully come down a little bit early thanks to our reanimation spells, and then overrun our opponent too quickly for them to deal with it because it's too early in the game for them to deal with threats as big as we've got. Well, in this particular deck, we're not really getting things down particularly early, but when they do come into the battlefield, they're going to be causing a lot more havoc because the reanimator spell of choice that we have today is Invoke Justice. Now, this is a 5-mana reanimation spell, so already you're paying a little bit more than your typical maybe 4. You know, with what's the other one that I really like? Give me 1 second here. I should have been a little more prepared with this, but there is a reanimator spell that I typically use for almost all of our reanimation decks, and it's Return Upon the Tide. This card right here gets you back your creatures for 4 mana, but in this particular deck, we're doing it for 5, and we're doing it with Invoke Justice, which is hard to cast because it's a lot of white mana devotion. But what makes this card so good is that it comes back to the battlefield, and then we get to place 1/1 counters on things. 4 1/1 counters. So if we tie this thing in together with Vorinclex, you're looking at a very big, nasty threat because Vorinclex is going to double those 1/1 counters. So you're actually going to get 8 1/1 counters to place on permanents that you control. Those permanents being creatures or vehicles. So these two cards together are a no-brainer, and that's where the deck kind of started and came into conception and how we were going to build it. We needed ways to get Vorinclex though into the graveyard in order to get back the Vorinclex with Invoke Justice. So how did we do that? We splashed in blue. We splashed in blue for things like Faithful Mending and Thirst for Discovery. Both of these cards are probably some of the best cards you can have for reanimator decks because they are cycling through your deck very fast. You're drawing a bunch of cards, you're discarding a bunch of cards, you're gaining life, and it'll help you find what you need, get rid of the things you don't need. We've also got the Celestis, which is going to help us, you know, draw, discard as well, but it's also going to gain us life. And this also plays a very important role because another one of the cards we are going to be reanimating is Avabruck. Avabruck is a card that we want to have down when it is nighttime. So hopefully the Celestis can get it to nighttime. We get back Avabruck and it is now transformed, giving all of our creatures hexproof and giving +1/1 counters on everything. 2 +1/1 counters on everything. And those 2 counters become 4 counters when you're talking about Vorinclex. So that's really, really nice. And now we get into the problem of what if we run into a control mage, right? Well, we've got Coma. Coma is a great way to deal with control mages because A, it can't be countered. If we reanimate this, it spits out serpents, and it can give itself indestructibility from sweepers like Doomscar or, you know, Devastating Mastery. So it's really nice. And then we've also got 3 negates, which really came in clutch because thanks to the algorithm playing this particular deck, we did run into a ton of control. So these negates have been really, really helpful for us in order to protect our creatures once they hit the battlefield. And then we splashed in some control mechanisms. We got, 3 Ren and 7s, 3 Wandering Emperors, and 4 Doomskars. The Doomskar is very helpful right now with mono white. Boros is everywhere, so this card's pretty imperative to have in the deck. But these 2 cards are also very synergistic with the deck as well, because Invoke Justice can get back target permanent card from your graveyard or battlefield, or put it onto the battlefield. So you can actually return these as permanents, and if you have a creature on the field already, you got some added benefits there. Also, Ren and 7, get you some lands, also puts things into the graveyard from the top of your deck, which could be one of these creatures, and then you can invoke Justice as well. So a lot of really cool synergies here. The deck works actually extremely well, and I know you're going to enjoy today's gameplay footage, so I hope you guys stick around for that all the way through, and we'll meet you guys back here at the end for some final thoughts on how we thought the deck performed and maybe some things we could change. So we'll see you guys at the end. Peace. All right, we are going to be playing some BANT, ladies and gentlemen. BANT is not a color scheme I have played in a while, and I'm really excited because I can play things like Coma, which is nice. But ultimately, we're looking to play things like Invoke Justice. This is going to be a BANT Reanimator list, which is highly unusual, honestly. I don't think I've ever seen a BANT Reanimator list, but today's the day. Invoke Justice is here, so it is one of the better reanimation spells. It does cost a lot of devotion to white though, so we kept it more of a Selesnya build with just a splash of blue, and we're hoping to get it. Hope it gets it done, man. It's gonna be tricky, but if we can pull this stuff off and this actually turns out to be pretty smooth, this could be really, really nasty, because the types of creatures we have in here, man, with Invoke Justice, like Vorinclex and a couple of Planeswalkers, could get insane. Like, this could get really insane. Definitely gonna go for some more white here. Let's go ahead and foretell the Doomskar, because we see some white. You never know what's coming here. Probably gonna be some nonsense, some aggro. Okay, so it's gonna be runes and all that fun stuff. Little Celestis action to ramp us up. Hopefully Faithful Mending can find us something we can reanimate. 2 Weavers, huh? With no follow-up. Interesting. Alright, I think that's a clean Doomskar then. Because we don't want these Weavers drawing them extra cards here, which is definitely what they're looking to do. They're looking to probably play some Spirited Companions to draw them extra cards, because they are light on the mana, so they did miss their land drops last turn. This should be pretty open and shut. If we can get some reanimation spells here in the graveyard off of this Faithful Mending, we'll be good to go. Opponent is falling behind quickly. Well, it looks like they might have something they can play here, but they choose not to. All right, I guess both of these can go. Sure. Not the best Faithful Mending, that's for sure. Take action. Another recovery. I don't know, man. I don't like throwing away the recoveries, but not much we can do about it. I don't feel so good about the Ren and 7 anymore, because I would feel good about it, but the problem that I have is the fact that we threw away our Balagad recoveries, which would be our game plan if the Ren and 7 accidentally spit out something important. All right, let's see what we hit here. Come on, we need some reanimation spells, man. What's going on here? Gosh darn it, what is happening? Is this really happening right now? This feels kind of lame that we're not hitting anything. Like, we have 6 potential hits here. Maybe we need to up the amount of hits we can get, because this is kind of not going so great at the moment. All right, let's go ahead and hit him with the Wandering Emperor. -2. Let's go -1 here. Let's just kill it with the old school 2/2. Okay. All right, we finally get something to throw into the yard. Finally, a little bit of something. Create another 2/2 here. We have the Faithful Mending. We have Avabruck, which we can get back now. This is where things start to get good for us. It took a little long to get here, I can't lie. This particular game, it took quite a bit of time to get where we needed to go. But we figured it out. We figured it out. Really sifting through our deck quickly here, man. All right, there's the Vorinclex. That's actually super sweet. Maybe we just play this straight up for this turn. Let's do it. Let's play a straight up Vorinclex here for the turn because we can actually double the loyalty counters here on the Wandering Emperor plus the 1/1 counters. It's a lot of damage. All right, now the Invoke Justice is going to get us our Avabruck, and it's going to be lights out from there. It took a long time, but we got to the point here, right? We're reading the story. We're like, get to the point. This is the part of the book where it starts to come together. You ever wondered what an Invoke Justice does when paired up with a Vorinclex plus an Avabruck? Me too. Let's find out. Let's find out. I'm sure it's something pretty spectacular. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Oh man. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. What a combo, dude. What an absolute combo wombo. And every single thing I have has hexproof. Imagine that. They're just gonna let me kill everything. I like it. I like it. I guess because the trample though, you kind of have to let me kill everything. Dang, they barely survive. All right, your turn. Oh man, it is nighttime and it is the right time. GG, my friend. GG. See, if only we could have done that sooner, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, well, our opponent on game number 2, which you guys did not just get to see because it was 30 seconds long, scooped the moment they got into the lobby, so that was kind of strange. But here we are, game number 2. We didn't make any adjustments to the deck. I looked at it. I wanted to add a few more creatures, but chose not to. And this is exactly why. I think that we have plenty in the deck. 6 is more than enough. And this is a perfect example why. We didn't see one for a long time last game. But this is typically what I thought it would be. A little bit more, a little easier to navigate. But going against black with some more snow mana stuff. So looking at, looking at Blood on the Snow. Serpent's probably gonna be the best as far as avoiding death to that, but I don't know. Coma's like really good at avoiding Blood on the Snow because of its indestructibility is what I'm trying to say, but then you've also got to consider the things like Meat Hook Massacre. It's one of the weaker ones because, being 6 toughness, pretty easy to get to it, especially when you're ramping with all this treasure. You got these Shambling Gas, Deadly Disputes and whatnot. I don't know. We've got a pretty good variety of things here. Avabruck, obviously giving hexproof is helpful. Okay, they're running white, so Avabruck's going to be really good because we're going to be able to avoid the spot removal like Vanishing Verse and Rite of Oblivion. Okay. So now we know they're running Rite of Oblivion. That's good. Fair enough. Kind of needed that though, so I can get the Justice down a little bit easier. All right, hopefully we hit a land drop here. Oh, thank goodness. I really thought we weren't going to hit that. And I think these two are the cards I want to go for now. Man, if we would have missed the land drop there, I might have gotten really triggered. We lucked out. We lucked out. Activating the Hive, and they know what we're up to right away, so they're going to eat up my Coma. Oh, they're not going to eat up Coma. Interesting. Interesting. I am going to Boseiju, I think. Boseiju is only 2. So yeah, let's do this for green. And let's hold up Boseiju so we can blow up their hive. I can't have them keep activating that hive and eating up my graveyard, especially when we're trying to hit it with an Invoke Justice. Still gonna be pretty hard for us to hit an Invoke Justice though when we're talking about trying to hit all this white mana that we need. We need 2 more white sources, so gonna be tricky. I do like that this is a sorcery speed card, by the way. It's nice. All right, let's blow up the hive. The hive is our worst nightmare. This particular matchup, that is not a good card to see. I'll probably hit a plus on the Ren and 7 here just so I can dig up that white mana. Because there's nothing really threatening the Ren here. But then they draw this, which is like really... Alright, we're going to go Avabruck. Avabruck straight away because of its hexproof mechanic. It avoids this and this, so that should be pretty awesome. And we've got Coma and Vorinclex in the yard. This could turn out to be either one of the best games ever or one of the worst because of how much removal they have. This could easily be one of the worst, but because it's sorcery speed and we have a lot of combat tricks like hexproof, indestructibility, we should be able to avoid most of this. Or not. Or not. Alright. Ren and 7's gonna die here because they're gonna use the Rite of Oblivion on their treasure. Alright, we do find a white source, which means invoke the justice, or I keep saying invoke to justice. It's invoke justice. It will come down next turn. Ren and 7 can spit out a huge tree folk, so you got to imagine that they're going to use either Annihilation or Rite of Oblivion here. Or Soul Transfer. They have all sorts of removal, huh? That is... It's all sorcery speed, though. So, I mean, again, we can kind of avoid most of these tricks here, but they... Okay, they didn't exile Avabruck, which is super good. And we have negate. Okay, this could be pretty awesome. Oh, we have negate. I kind of want to bring back Coma. Because we have the negate, I kind of want to bring back Coma, but then our opponent... I think Avabruck's the answer, man. It's just got the most upside as far as like protecting itself. But it is just one singular threat, which feels a little clunky. But at least, like I said, we know for a fact that these 2 cards, worthless right now. Doomscar. Okay, we can negate that. Feels bad to use the negate up right away like this, but I mean, that's what it's there for, so use it up. Spirited Companion, not a problem, not a problem. I need it to turn to night though. Night would be the most ideal. Oh my goodness. They say year go. Oh, they are salty right now. All right, gonna do the Coma this time. Coma's gonna at least spit us out an extra. Coma's gonna spit us out an extra little bit of a card advantage or creature advantage, board advantage, because it is gonna spit out some serpents. Obviously, giving indestructibility does nothing against our opponent casting exiling effects, but like I said, we'll at least have a 2/2 because we want to take advantage of the Avabruck's ability to put 1/1 counters on stuff. So even if we just get another 2/2 serpent body, totally worth it. It'll get much bigger over time. What's it gonna be? Are you gonna activate the annihilation, or are you gonna sacrifice the treasure? Looks like they're gonna sacrifice a shambling gas to the right of Oblivion here to kill the coma. What stinks is all their abilities are exiling effects, so it's not like we can get them back later, so that kind of stinks. But hey, like I said, we're left with the serpent here. The serpent's gonna get much bigger over time. And now we're going to turn it to nighttime because we're not going to play a spell on our turn, which means hexproof for everybody. Serpent's going to be safe from the annihilation. I am afraid, though, of course, of the hive. The hive is a pretty annoying card when we're talking about the fact that it can exile all my creatures out of my graveyard, which is what I don't need. All right, I am still afraid too of Blood on the Snow. Blood on the Snow is terrifying at the moment. I'm hoping maybe we can find another negate off of the Faithful Mending. I gotta imagine they have it right about now. Invoke Despair. Can I negate this? That's a negative Ghost Rider. There's the negate, but I don't have the mana to cast it now. Fair enough. At least we found the negate, though. Finding the negate here was pretty awesome, I can't lie. Just please don't have another effect that makes me sacrifice. Another invoke would be horrible. Okay, that's a good sign. That is a good sign. That's annoying. A lot of good stuff in my yard. If they take Coma or Vorinclex, that's a win for them. They take Coma. Okay. That's pretty big for them. All right. That's not bad. Let's Celestis here. Let's decline. Get in for 14, which is one away from lethal, but opponent blocks, of course. They get another treasure. Again, still avoiding that annihilation. Dude, Ava Bruck doing what it's designed to do, which is avoid that removal, man. That spot removal is everything. I have negate, so hopefully they try to blow up the board here. That'd be fantastic. They don't, though. They just go for the hive play, which is pretty good because that eats up my last Vorinclex here. So Invoke Justice is going to be pretty much worthless at this point. I'm just going to hope that we top deck what we need off the top instead of the Invoke, if we could just get the creatures instead. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing, man. We're just going to keep pounding down, and hopefully they'll run out of things to put in front of this. Yeah, I figured that was coming next. Yikes. Yep. Let's negate that. Feels bad. I don't want to negate this. I'd rather negate sweepers, but looks like they've been struggling to find said sweeper, so let's just negate this. So maybe they're going to be forced to use their hive to block with. Looks like they might have to. I think I'm going to hang on to this Ava Bruck. I don't know why. I don't know if it's more advantageous to play now, but I am going to hang on to it. They have plenty creature lands to just keep throwing in front of this thing and blocking with it. So that is kind of annoying. I And there's another one. My lips are so dry. All right. What are you going to eat up now? What do you got for me? Another, probably a planeswalker, I would assume. Probably the Wandering Emperor. At least, I mean, at least we are killing these lands. I mean, they are important to kill, right? The Wandering Emperor probably would have been something I should have just probably held on to that because of its ability to -2 and kill that hive. That's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and swing in here and see if they want to block with their 3/4 flyer. I'm sure they will. All right. We're getting the job done, man. It's taking time. It's taking a lot of time. We are whittling them down here. That's for sure. Is that my second spell? It sure was. Okay, so I turned it back to daytime, which is actually not great. But I like Ava Bruck in hand here, so there's nothing I want to withdraw into because I don't want to exile, or I don't want to discard because they're just going to make me exile it with the hive. So they're probably going to annihilation my Ren and 7 here, which is totally cool. Okay, or the creature. Also cool. Let's see what we hit here, because we could potentially find something to throw in the yard to get back with an Invoke Despair because we have the Balagad Recovery. Looks like that's not the case. I think I'm just going to attack here, try to turn it back into night. I could Recovery the negate though, and that would really kind of ensure the victory, wouldn't it? Because we can negate their final potential sweeper here. Yeah, I think that's the play. I think that is the play, which means we don't have to worry too much about spending mana here. Or doing 2 plays. I'm so tired, guys. I'm sorry. 2 plays. We're not too worried about 2 different plays here. There's the scoop. They see we take the negate. They know their last hope was probably some sort of sweeper. And we get the job done. GG's. Let's go. Man, who knew BANT could be this much fun? Who knew BANT could be played this way? All right, this isn't bad. We got the Invoke Justice and the Faithful Mending with the mana to play it, so we're looking pretty solid. Looking pretty solid. Yeah, bear with me, guys, man. If my explanations and stuff are a little bit like, what the heck is he even saying? What's he talking about right now? It's because I'm so tired. I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning of the video. I'm so tired I don't even remember, but I already recorded an entire video today. Was good to go. Was gonna go to bed and edit the video out, and went back, looked at it, and there was no audio, not any. There was no game audio and no music background audio, so it was just my voice. Kind of made for some awkward content, so I had to go back and sort this out and record another video. All right, this is frustrating. Here we go. Another negate is pretty awesome. I love getting the negates here because they are very good at protecting us. I hate throwing away the Ren and 7 here, but I mean, that's a good problem to have if you're throwing away things that you don't want to throw away just because you have too many good options. That's a good problem to have. And the Coma should be a really good answer to a lot of what our opponent's trying to do, because they're probably running like, you know, Doom Scars and stuff like that. So indestructibility is going to be really helpful. And I imagine we should be able to pull out the victory from here. I mean, Fading Hope, things that bounce this are going to be pretty annoying, but at this point in the game, though, we've already got 6 mana. And if we on-tap just one time, we have negate, so this should close it out, I hope. Well, there is the problem, too, of Wandering Emperor. But again, negate handles that pretty well. Okay, they eat the damage. That's pretty big. Memory Deluge. I'll let that slide because it's not a spell that affects me too much. They're probably trying to deluge some sort of sweeper, which I could just give indestructibility for. So, I mean, that wouldn't be the answer. That is the answer, which unfortunately we have the answer for. Good game, my friend. That was about as clean of a game as you could ask for. Holy cow, dude. We absolutely rolled them. That was sweet. And that right there is why the negates are in the deck, because with this algorithm problem we have here on Arena, I seem to have run into, from platinum to diamond, 100, and I mean 100%, mono white or Boros aggro. That's it, period. That's all I ran into. And then I get to diamond, switch up the deck, start recording. We try a new deck, BANT Reanimator, and every deck, I ran into a deck that had Test of Talents in it. I ran, like, every deck had some sort of counter magic, and so negate found its way into the deck ultimately, and here we are. And it's been absolutely showing up for us in the biggest of ways. That's a big top deck right there. That's a big top deck because now we can get to the Faithful Mending. Jeez, opponent's off to a blazing start here. Thank you. I was literally just gonna say I could really use a Doomscar right about now. And we know that the Spellbinder's coming down this turn to try to prevent the Doomscar, but it's too late. It's already foretold. It has been foretold. We're probably gonna see a scoop here the moment I drop it. They are overcommitting like crazy right now. This is the most no-brainer Doomscar of my life. Wow, no scoop. Okay, they are still trying to stick with it. I respect that, honestly. I thought for sure we'd see their head explode on that play. They overextended bad. Like, they just loaded up. They should have played the Ushers and swung in and just really focused on spinning out those 1/1s. And now they got the Adversary, which they're investing a ton of mana into, only to have it die to my Wandering Emperor. Yeah, they didn't play this one so well, but they couldn't have known. I mean, I guess they could have. Azorius colors come down on turn 1. You gotta be aware of the Doomscar, right? The sweepers.
I'm home. You're done.
Apparition. All right, that is gonna take my Wandering Emperor, but it's gonna give me a 4/4 back down the road once I can kill it. If I can kill it. That is the way to kill it. Okay, let's go here. And we'll probably Faithful Mending. Actually, Thirst for Discovery is fine. Faithful Mending is nice though because it gives us the life gain, but... Alright, so now they're gonna boast, I think, with their Usher, which is what they should have done earlier. They have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't blame them. I've never in my life seen someone, again, run any sort of BANT Reanimator list, so... Interesting. Nice little Doomscar action. We'll be seeing ya. We get a 4/4 body to block with next turn. And we're off to the races. Now we've got non-stop just banger after banger card here that you just... I mean, you gotta answer or you're dead. Plus we have negate now held. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Mono white gets just destroyed. Dude, we are cruising along, about to tier up. Let's go. Aside from that really grindy Orzhov game, we have been actually getting through these people, our opponents, really fast. I thought this deck would take a little bit more time to get the W's, but we are flying right now. Kind of stinks, man. It feels like I'm losing my voice again all over again. I just got over that whole thing. Man, me and my family, when we get sick, it just bounces from all of us, like bang, 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 bang. And like, it just makes it cycle all the way around again. All right, the Celestis is going to get us there as far as the blue mana goes. Now we can start hitting some thirst for discoveries and whatnot. Also, if we draw into another land, we can get a Ren and 7 down. That'd be pretty cool. I guess that's fine. I mean, we still get a land off of it, so that's cool. We get a blue source. Works out fine. Boseiju. Is this mono green? Because if it is, I'm really shocked they haven't played a creature yet. It's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Not the slightest clue. All right, you can go. You can go. So we got our 4 white sources now, so we can definitely cast the invoke when we get it, if we need to. At this point in the game, though, we're so far along as far as mana goes, we don't really need it. I'm so beyond confused right now. I don't know what the heck is happening. Opponent's got Hydras and Boseijus, all green mana, yet no creatures have hit the field. It's weird though, because it's like when you don't know what your opponent's up to, you're actually on edge. It's like, man, I'm actually kind of scared. I can't lie. Okay. Nice. We got some big stuff in the yard now. Now we just got to find our reanimator spell and we're good to go. Let's get in for 7. Maybe? I don't know. Are they going to kill it somehow? No. I have a lot of basic lands too that I can get rid of to the thirst, so we could draw a handful of cards here. Ah, we finally see a swamp hit the field. That makes a lot more sense as to why they didn't play anything yet. We take the 7/7. Trying to save themselves some life. Okay, and we'll play the mending. They're clearly hurting for some mana as far as black mana goes, so something to consider. All right, we'll definitely invoke justice here. Probably grab ourselves a Vorinclex because Vorinclex works the best with planeswalkers, right? So let's get the Vorinclex out here. And then we'll Boseiju, or we'll Balagud Recovery the invoke. Two, 3, and they scoop it up. They didn't have an answer for the 14/14 Vorinclex. Most people don't. Most people do not. But good games. All right, and one last game for the road. It looks like we have time for at least one more. Well, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how fast it goes. If it's another 14-minute game because we're playing against Orzhov, that might not be the case. Would have been a pretty cool hand if we had more mana here. I don't know why I'm such a fan of the Doomscar art, man. So cool. I love the picture. The mana's great. Let's do that. Spit away, throw away the Avabruck with the Faithful Mending, and we're good to go. Opponent's running Rakdos colors. Could this be that? Yeah, I was gonna say the Anvil deck. Okay. Got ourselves an Anvil player. It does look like we're gonna get our Avabruck early. I mean, hopefully. I mean, we gotta find more white mana, don't we? This is not gonna help. All right, they sacrifice that. They create some construct stuff. This Faithful Mending life gain is going to be very helpful here. This opponent here is trying to just ping us to death with these little one damage here, 1 damage there situations. All right, let's get rid of the Avabruck. That's not bad. Not bad. Yet not good at the same time. Alright, hopefully that's a sign that they don't have any other plays here, but I doubt it. I'm sure they've got something here. Okay, so they can actually eat their own constructs and create 2 more constructs? Okay, that's pretty wild. That is pretty wild, I can't lie. Alright, let's mend away. Deadly Dispute. Interesting. Good thing that the anvils only trigger once a turn. Man. It's not what I wanted to see. Ah, Boseiju could be pretty good, man. Yikes, I don't know. I don't know what I wanted to drop there. Alright, let's drop the anvil here. It is going to allow our opponent to ramp up here, but our opponent's only running 1 and 2 drops probably throughout their entire deck anyways, so it's not a terrible idea to get, give them a little bit of ramp. I say that and then they drop a Lulf on us, so that's cool. Alright, we're looking for Doomscar, I guess, at this point, huh? Not terrible, actually. We can get a big tree folk to block with. We take 2, 4, 6. We take 7 damage on this next turn, but then hopefully start to make a comeback because we can plus the Ren, grabbing hopefully some more white mana. We've also got the Wandering Emperor to exile and gain us a bit of life. I don't know. We might be okay. We'll see. If they activate the Hive, it's also pretty bad for us. Or the Den of the Bugbear, sorry. 2/2 Goblin that creates treasure. Oh, they're doing really good right now. Their whole system right now is online. Hate to see it. You hate to see it. Ren 7 dies. That means we don't get find the land as easily. Negate is cool. I don't think it helps us too much here though. Wow. And that's how that is gonna end, huh? Just couldn't find a land, man. Couldn't get the land we needed to cast Invoke Justice. And honestly, I thought that would happen more than once, but it only happened once today, so totally worth it. I think the deck played pretty well, but we're gonna go and break that all down right now in our final thoughts. That is going to wrap up today's gameplay footage, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you stuck around this long, I'm assuming you did, but also just want to say before I jump into this breakdown that if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for that support. I really do appreciate you. You guys actually probably don't know you are supporting the channel a lot by staying this long, because what happens is YouTube sees that in the algorithm. She sees that you guys are watching longer, pushes the videos out to more people. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And with that thank you being said, let's talk about the list, man. So very, very happy with how this performed. Thought it did a phenomenal job of getting down big threats and those big threats protecting themselves. I think Ava Bruck paired with the Vorinclex, as you guys seen, is insane. It's really broken. One of the most broken things I've seen in a long time. What's nice about these reanimator decks is that you can go into your your filters. You can filter out some really big creatures. You can kind of do this, pump out that and then hit your creature button, and you can get yourself a list of really nasty, gnarly creatures you could play as your top end to try to reanimate. And you've got a lot of options here, man, mostly in green, but you do have a lot of options. This deck actually had a couple of other cards in it before we landed on what we did. We did actually have Tovolar's Huntmaster in this deck at one point, because it also plays really well with the mechanic of, turning into night. And so it was in place of the Coma, but we ran into a lot of control stuff and sweepers. So I kind of needed the Coma in the deck so we can avoid those situations where they swept the boards. We can kind of give indestructibility. So I think it worked out a little bit nicer to have the Coma, but Tovolar's Huntmaster is a really cool tool because, again, you get the bodies, immediately the moment this hits the battlefield. And if you get the wolf side of things, you can start fighting your opponent's creatures, which could be very, very helpful. As you saw against the Orzhov list, that would have been really helpful to kind of start fighting things. So you've got that as an option as far as a creature goes. You can also get a little creative with the blue. We've got, you know, Jin Gataxias and Hullbreaker Horror. These are also some really great tools to use against control mages in place of Coma maybe. But I do think Avabruck and Vorinclex are a must-have duo in the package. But you can kind of mix up what it is you play on your top end as far as creatures go. The rest of the deck, I think, played pretty phenomenally. It had its moments of kind of like, is Invoke just as good enough? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it the card we really want? Like, because by the time we're getting to, you know, 5 mana, like I explained in the intro, 5 mana is cheaper than 6. I'll give you that. It's cheaper than 6, but it's 1 turn earlier. And so it becomes kind of like in the late game, not as good. But the idea behind the Invoke Justice is to get those 1/1 counters, right? Because if you saw that, you know, when we hit a Vorinclex with that, it's an 18 damage, something like 18 damage swing for haste and trample, which can catch someone off guard and you can win a game immediately. And I also didn't really get to use it a lot to bring back Planeswalkers and then spit the, you know, the 1/1 counters out on our creatures, because most of the time we were using the Planeswalkers to get to our creatures. So there definitely could be some adjustments made to this deck. Maybe the Planeswalkers aren't the right idea. Maybe we need to add a little bit more control. Maybe we need to add a little bit more removal, maybe some Fateful Absences, things like that to kind of help us out throughout the game. But again, we ran into a lot of control matchups, so I think the negates were really more important than any Fateful Absence might be. Ultimately, I like the deck. I think it played phenomenally. I like Balaga Recovery. It helped us a lot in a ton of different spots. You know, you could do this a bunch of different ways. This was an Abzan list to start things off too. I had Witherbloom Command in this thing to try to mill off the top of our deck, but I think blue is in the best spot as far as getting us card advantage at the same time as discarding cards, the cards that we need to discard. So I think blue is really the answer here. You can even make this deck completely Azorius and maybe even splash green, or just have green as a means for, you know, certain creatures to bring back from the dead. So this could totally be an Azorius list, which would be kind of fun. But ultimately, I like it. I'm not going to mess with it too much. I might mess around with the creatures on the top end and just kind of explore what it would be like to have the Kraken, you know, Jin Gataxias, things like that. I might mess around with it and see what I like the most, but ultimately I like where it's at. If you guys have any ideas on how to make this deck any better, please, as always, leave it in the comments down below. I would really appreciate that. And before I head off to bed, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday, just want to give it one big, huge shout out, as always, to the Marty Mob, man. The Marty Mob, I appreciate each and every single one of you so much for all of your support that you guys give me on the channel. My appreciation cannot be spoken in words, man. Just know that you guys mean the world to me, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Every video, I truly mean it. And if you guys want to become supporters of the channel like the Marty Mob has, you can become a member by joining down below with the link in the description or the join button right next to the subscribe button. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for sticking around, and peace out.
Hit him 3 times like a hat trick. The name is Fizz, you know Patrick. If you play him, then it's tragic. Hit him with the mythic, yeah, that's magic. Yeah, MTG, that's what you'll see if you like and subscribe. With the upload, man, man, all of the time. Coming with the best decks, this is the meta. This ain't cheap.